Motivation now, what's the different types of motivation? There are also two types of motivation. The common motivation is to take refuge with the thought of one's own unbearable suffering. The special one is unbearable. So that is like mediocre person. For myself, I cannot bear the suffering of samsara. I need to get rid of the samsara as soon as possible. So for my own interest, taking refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That's the common, the motivation. Now, then the special one is to take refuge with the thought of others' unbearable suffering. Bodhisattvas. Not just your own, but looking at all the suffering of sentient beings. So I cannot bear the suffering of all sentient beings. What I can do. So you develop that kind of artistic thought. You take refuge for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now here comes the ceremony. We finish ceremony, see. There are two types of refuge ceremony. In the common ceremony, first the disciple supplicates the master to the teacher to perform the ceremony, and then the master makes offering in front of the three jewels. If there's a Buddha Dhamma Sangha, if you have. If this cannot be arranged, if there's no shrine room just in the planned place and like that, then the disciple should visualize the three jewels, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, in space and mentally. In the space by mentally. Physically do 3 prostrations and make offerings. Then the disciple repeats after the master. So this is the prayer to you repeats. Please hear me. So the disciple now say these things. Please hear me, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Please hear me, master. My name, such say. From this time until I achieve enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, the supreme beings among the two-legged. I take refuge in the Dharma, the supreme freedom from all the attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, the most excellent of all community. So this is repeated 3 times from the heart. Then you receive the refuge ordination. Now the special one. The superior ceremony consists of preparation, actual ceremony, and conclusion. First, preparation. First, a qualified master who is worthy of being attended is offered a mandala and flowers. And then it's requested to perform the ceremony. There's some individual who is interested, it's a request. Please perform the ceremony. The spiritual master will accept if the disciple belongs to Mahayana family and is a proper vessel. On the first day, the master prepares the objects of refuge, performs the offerings, and explains the beneficial effects of taking refuge and faults of not taking refuge, means disadvantage of not taking refuge. The second, the actual ceremony. On the second day, the spiritual master performs the actual ceremony. First, the disciple cultivates the mind that the objects of the refuge in front of him are the actual refuges. Thus prostration, and then make offerings. Then he repeats after the master in this way. Please hear me, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Please hear me, master. My name is such. From this time until I achieve Buddhahood, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, the supreme beings among the two-legged. I take refuge in the Dharma of peace and nirvana, the supreme free from all the attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, the supreme assembly of the non-returning bodhisattvas, mean those bodhisattvas above 8 bhumis. Thus repeat 3 times. After that, the full realization refuge objects invited in front, and the disciple visualize them as actually present in front of one's in the space, and does 3 prostration and makes the offering with the mind of complete surrender. Means I want to surrender to purify all my obscurations. He repeats the refuge ceremony 3 times as before. After that, he prostrates and makes offerings to the suchness, ultimate. This suchness is ultimate refuge, object, free of the 3 spheres, means the object Buddha, and taking refuge, the action, and person who takes refuge, all are in the illusory nature, in the non-duality nature. It's called the free of the 3 elaborations, called free of the 3 spheres. It's in the Mahamudra state, you take refuge. All phenomena are primordially selfless. The selflessness of person, selflessness of phenomena. Existence without any identification of their own. All these things that what we see exists. There's nothing to exist. Seeing that, basically. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha should also be seen in this way. Inseparable nature. That is called inexhaustible. That's called inexhaustible. There's nothing to exhaust. Eternal, unchanging, ultimate refuge. The Naga king Anawatapti requested Sutra says, what is taking refuge with a mind free from worldly activities, so samsaric activities, free from that? Those who realize all phenomena are non-existent. You see, realize this is different, you see. It's not saying they are not exist. In our ordinary mind, you see, this all exist. You cannot deny. But when we practice and then realize their nature is non-existent. See, those who realize all phenomena are not as non-existent and have no form, no perception, and no characteristics, see the Buddha perfectly. That's it, taking refuge in the Buddha. One who realizes all phenomena are the nature of Dharma dhatus, Dharma element, means free from all this duality. So Dharma expands, it's taking refuge in Dharma. One who realizes that the composite and non-composite are non-dual. There's no such called composite, there's no such called non-composite. All are in the non-duality state. Our non-dual is taking refuge in the Sangha. So see, in all states of Mahamudra, you're taking refuge. So, conclusion, the next third day is the conclusion ceremony where one makes offering to the 3 jewels with gratitude. Okay, now we make a short break. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay.
Chưa. Em sẽ ở lại.
Protection. So what kind of activities there by taking refuge? See them? Protection from all harms. Harm, or maybe it'll come down there. Freedom from lower realms and being unskilled. Freedom from the view that there is a person, and protection from the lower vehicles. Therefore, it is the noble refuge. So thus, common refuge protects from one from all harms, means internally, from outside as well. Because when the inner mental harms, means those afflictive emotions, confusions, delusions, when those are dispelled, then there's no harm within. Then from that also brings the protection from outside. So there's no harm from all. That means the three lower realms, because we take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, what that means, keeping the 10 precepts and practicing all the virtues within. Because of that, then we will not be born in the lower realms. Unskilled means protect from unskilled. That means making mistakes. When we have no Dharma, or have not taken refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we have no any concentration, creating negative cause, creating negative karma. If we have taken refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then there's a concentration. Say, I should not create any of the 10 non-virtues. So we are free from the unskilled means, you see. And believe in the abiding person means this free from the self-cherishing. So the self, in the first place, the self is not exist by itself. But through our confusion, we develop such kind of like self. Then we cherish that as much as possible, which cannot be cherished. If you cherish for eons, then the self will say, so I'm so happy you are cherishing me. Since such kind of self does not exist, so cherishing that is in vain, it's useless. Then the special refuge practice, if you take in the Mahayana way, great vehicle way, so I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha until I achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. When you have that motivation, then it protects from also lower realm, the lower vehicle, The lower realms, I think it's lower vehicle, this. So the special refuge protects from, take one from the lower vehicles and so forth. So they are inconceivable, say activities, the action that performs to receive all the peace and happiness and to free from the suffering. Training now, there are 3 general training, 3 particular training, and 3 common trainings. The first, the 3 general trainings consist of making a constant effort to make offering to the 3 JOLs. Anytime, anywhere, you go, you make offering to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Even you can, when you drive, nowadays you see beautiful flowers on the roadside. When you see that, just make offering to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Make offering to all the sentient beings. When you see a beautiful mountain, you just see what a beautiful. You make offering to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. When you see a beautiful forest, so there's always chance to make offering. And then you feel so happy. You just from that offering without expectation. Feeling of clear mind. And there's such a peace, happiness just will come from that. Because there's an object of the enlightened being. Just only think of the excellent culture Buddha Dharma Sangha. That itself makes your mind ease, relax. So that's one. So then it's a JOL. Even offering whatever one eats or drinks, if you eat like lunch, dinner, breakfast, first make offering to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Then you enjoy as a blessing all the three jewels. As a not forsaking the three jewels even at the risk of one's life or forget, reward that the faith, devotion during the precious human life. There are 4 different types of faith. Not giving up. Even somebody reward you. This is this. Or somebody says, I will kill you. Or somebody says, you are so stupid, what are you doing here? Or this, whatever happens, due to attachment, due to anger, due to delusions, so forth. So not giving up. Now, and repeatedly take refuge by recollecting the qualities of the three jewels. See, this is important, reflecting the qualities. Not just as mentioned, beings, and you take refuge because you're Buddhist. It's not that the point. The point is to purify our obscurations. To bring the qualities of the Buddha Dharma Sangha into you. Which is the cause of peace and happiness. All the cause of sufferings are purified. For that we take refuge, see. The clear faith, the trusting faith, and the longing faith that we have, Look at this. The three particular training are having taken refuge in the Buddha. One should not take refuge in the other deity. Means it's called holy. The other means holy deity. Samsaric powerful beings, as above mentioned. So there's some powerful entities down here. Because it's as above mentioned. They are not free from samsara, so they cannot give us refuge. If anyone who is enlightened, then you can take refuge. If anyone's free from samsara, we can take refuge. There's no there's no any division, So the Sutra of the Great Parinirvana says, one should take refuge in the Buddha is the pure Upasaka. Upasaka is a lay practitioner. It's a pure lay practitioner. Householder practitioner. Upasaka, Upasika. Never go for refuge to other deities, means as mentioned, other samsaric beings, powerful. Having taken refuge in the Dharma, one should not harm others, the other sentient beings. It says in the sutra, By taking refuge in the precious Dharma, one's mind should be free from hurting and harming others. See, here Dharma means peace. So you're taking refuge in the peace. While you are taking refuge in the peace and harming others, it contradicts. Dharma, the day you start, you are following the path into the path of peace. See, when you achieve complete Buddhahood, you achieve the absolute peace. It's called undefiled peace. Buddhahood is the undefiled peace. Even from just beginning, afflicted peace, we start from that. Then step by step purify all the cause of suffering. Because suffering is harming. When we suffer, we are getting harmed. We are harmed by the suffering. So that's Dharma practice. That's why sometimes when you're chanting mantra, it helps recollect the enlightened deity. So this is the mantra of this deity, like a generous, natural wisdom, compassion, and reflect with that you chant mantra. But if you are, your mind is the wrong place, then anger, jealous, pride, greed, and chanting mantra, I think it doesn't help so much. So it's very simple. When you repeat the mantra, you look at the qualities of those enlightened beings, reflect on that, then you practice, then it helps you. So say that's the Dharma, peace, as mentioned, wisdom, peace, excellent qualities, so forth, Having taken refuge in the Sangha, one should not rely on heretics, means who has wrong view, like causality, Because the wrong view is not just Buddhist belief, as mentioned, it's the causality, it's reality, nature. Whatever the cause you create, it will bring the result. So that you don't follow those who have wrong views, so forth. The three common training, it says here, by taking refuge in the Sangha, one should not rely on heretics. On the three common training are to respect the Buddha jewel in every form, even a piece of tsa means like made as piece of like made from the mud, Don't regard this is a very, Buddha statue like made from gold. He said, this is so precious because it's made from gold. And Buddha statue made from mud. He said, this is not so important because it's made from mud. Then you are not valuing Buddha, but you are valuing the quality of the wealth. So here we're talking about the Buddha. Doesn't matter what kind of it's made from. Mud, wood, rocks, gold, or jade. Doesn't matter. As long as you see the Buddha's statue, you just respect equally. Sometimes we say, we put the precious metals statue put in the center. See, you describe, this is so important statue because it's from gold, from this, To respect the foundation of the Dharma jewel, the books and the text of the precious Dharma, even one syllable, and to Dharma teaching, of course, your study, your practice, you should respect. Also, when you take refuge. You respect your mind which you took refuge. You respect your wisdom, compassion by yourself. It's something precious. It's because it's a cause to eliminate the cause of suffering. No? Then the text which describes about these teachings, like this text, JOL, Ornament, Liberation, you put little higher place. Unlike like stories, the book of the stories, no? It contains wisdom, all these skills. No? And to respect the precious Sangha jewels, the dress of Buddha, even a patch of yellow cloth, like Dharma robes, like some piece of patch there, no? Not because the cloth itself. The person who wears the cloth is supposed to have the mind to achieve enlightenment, mind to free from samsara, and mind to help all sentient beings. So precious, these blessings. I'm sure you have heard of some piece of cloth. If you find a piece of cloth of Milarepa, oh, this is Milarepa's piece of cloth, you know, then you will cherish so much. It's not because it's a piece of cloth. The person who wear that and achieve enlightenment, and you cherish. So this is Buddha's relax, you say, no? Or this is Buddha's footprint. What's basically why it is so important? It's footprint. But because the person who made it that way, it reminds. Because that person is embodied all those excellent qualities. So likewise, the monks who wear clothes, robes, so precious. That's what I mean, you see. Before I mentioned, this dress is not something like to show. So I'm a monk or nun, no? I'm wearing this, you have to respect. It's not that. This wearing the robe is reminding yourself what Buddha taught and follow the path. This is not for convenience. When you like, you wear. When you don't like, don't wear. Not for that, you know. That's why the robes are becomes precious, you see. Make sense? Yeah. So I try to make sense, you see. So then, if you agree, that's good. If you don't agree, that's fine too. Just reminding, you know. Okay. Beneficial effects. There are 8 benefits. There's so much, no? Now, this according to Atisha. Now, Atisha is such a great teacher, famous, whose scholarship said unparalleled, no? So he put a lot of emphasis on the refuge, those basic disciplines, foundations. Very famous about that. So he put those refuge into 8, kind of 8 things, yes, 8 topics. So this is Gampopa, since he followed Atisha path, so he put this into 8, according to Atisha, you know. There are 8 beneficial effects of taking refuge. One enters into the Buddhist path, means now you take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha. It's path for enlightenment. I'll be a good person. I will purify my delusions. I take Buddha as an example for the enlightenment. So that's what's called one enters the Buddhist path. The refuge becomes the foundation for all the other precepts, you see. Even we take the highest precept, Vajrayana, within Vajrayana, the highest Yoga Tantra, you take empowerment. Without refuge, not possible. refuge, the foundation. Because we take refuge in Buddha. The highest yoga, the deity is Buddha. If you avoid Buddha, who is highest yoga tantra? Non-existent. So, refuge is the foundation. Because whenever we chant prayers, if you practice highest yoga tantra, we start, I take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the practice of generosity and so forth, I will cultivate bodhicitta. And by the power of this, may every sentient being be free from suffering, samsara. No? So crucial. If we try to ignore refuge as a basic in order to practice the highest, then there's no Dharma, there's no Buddhist. So, as earlier mentioned here, no? First we take refuge, then on that basis we cultivate bodhicitta. On the basis of the refuge and bodhicitta, then we take the tantric initiations. So it's all precious. Foundation of all the meditation practices. Precepts. Refuge becomes a cause for purification of all the negative karma. That accumulated earlier. So all the negative karma that are accumulated, we can purify through the purification practices, like refuge, like vajrasattva's. Because mentally, through the wrong view or by the power of the afflictive emotions, so forth, mentally we created negative karmas. Now, by understanding mentally, we can recorrect. We can correct that. We can correct the mistake we made. Say, I made the mistake. I can purify. So practice joyfully. Acknowledge the mistake we made, which are the direct cause of suffering. And then acknowledge that I purify. And joyful, feel happy. See? If we cannot purify, then why is all those purification practices designed for? Whoever said, if you ask that the collection of the negative karmas can be get rid of, said if you practice the purification, so you can purify. So we practice purification, no frustration, taking refuge, and vajrasattva practice, so forth. A lot of those purification practices will come later too, at the Bodhisattva was step by there. One cannot be towed by the different human and non-human obstacles. This as mentioned earlier. Nobody can harm step by step if we practice the refuge. So as you see, there are many different stages of the refuge, as they mentioned. The third is visualization. Then nature of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Then at the end, the ultimate Buddha, you see, means your own. The Rebbe said their refuge, see, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the outer refuge. And then the Guru, Yidam deities, Dakinis, there's the inner refuge. Then chakra channels, relation with the bindus, relation with the three kayas, Dhammakaya, Sambhokaya, Nirmanakaya, the secret refuge. Then ultimate appearance, emptiness, non-duality, ultimate refuge. So within in the refuge, all the practices there. So through this step-by-step practice, definitely one will free from all the fears. Nobody can harm. Maybe physically harm, but mentally cannot be harmed. Your confidence, fearlessness, that's the refuge, see. Look at this, not just as mentioned, just something, culture. The way how to solve all the cause of suffering, problems. One accomplishes all that one wishes. So of course through these practices, then all the peace and happiness will come. If you have the bodhicitta in your mind, which will come later, then all the peace and happiness there. You are fully satisfied. That's the wishes, what we want for. This is the beauty of the Dharma. And one achieves the great cause of merit. So of course, merit will start from there. One will not fall into the lower realms. Definitely not, because it depends on the causes and conditions. When there's no cause to born in the lower realm, then where we should have a fear to born in the lower realms. And one quickly achieves the perfect enlightenment, then soon one will become Buddha, enlightened being. So these are beneficial effects. Okay, now here what we did, first we need the Mahayana family. On the basis that we take refuge, on the basis of taking refuge, then Pratimoksa Precepts here. The individual liberation precepts or Vinaya precepts. The third topic is the Pratimoksa Precepts, which are divided into 4 groups or 8 working bases. Within the 8 precepting or within the 8 perception, the Upavasata, this is special precept taken by the nun. After the novice perception, before getting the full bhikkhuni vow, you take this precept for two years. So this is designed special for nun. This is called. No, sorry, this is not that. Sorry. Now I'm making a big mistake here. This is a big mistake. Yeah. What is here? This one is the girl who takes the precept. The 8 precepts takes 24 hours. Sorry, this one. There's a 8 precept taking 24 hours. Like when you do the nyune, fasting. That time you take the precepts in the morning, before dawn, or before sunrise. From today until next time tomorrow, I take this 8 precept. This for that. Yeah, this is, you have to make correction this. Any one of the other 7 should be taken as the working basis, means working basis to practice the bodhicitta. The 7 types of Pratimoksas are here: bhikkhu, full ordained monk; bhikkhuni, full ordained nun. This one here, this is what I was talking, Shiksha Mana, that one. Shiksha Mana is the nun for a nun which takes you take two years precept before you get the full bhikkhuni ordination. Okay. And then Sharamanira, this is a novice monk, Sharamanirika, novice nun, Upasaka and Upasika are the householder precept. Okay. So these are the 7. From the Bodhisattva Bhumi by Asanga, within the Pratimoksa Precepts, there are 7 ways to take the precept perfectly. There are the Vikhu, Vikhuni, Shiksha Mana, Sharamanira, and Sharamanirika, Upasaka, and Upasika. These are divided into lay person and renounce. The householder precept is called like 5 precept, 2 precept, 3 precept, whatever you take. No, it's a householder precept. And renounce means those monks and nuns. Why do you need a Pratimoksa precept in order to cultivate action bodhicitta? Now, to have the action bodhicitta, why you need this precept? See, it's a very good question. It should be understood that they are needed as a foundation to cultivate bodhicitta, to practice bodhicitta. Say, through 3 reasons. So now Gampopa is explaining very precisely. Analogy, scriptural authority, and reasoning. He put the reason, logical reason, or empirical reason. First, analogy. It is not proper to invite a great monarch, or you can say like a president, prime minister. Nowadays, those times the king is very important. Nowadays the king time is going, Now, president, prime minister, like those things. To reside in a place where there is dung, dirt, or uncleanness, smelly, or you cannot invite the president or prime minister. First, the security check will come here if you are prepared, So you can't keep these things. You have to clean this thing, get rid of these things. That place, the way the prime minister, or president were inviting, that place should be well cleaned and decorated with many ornaments. So there's the analogy, the example, you just get that. So, likewise, one cannot invite the king of bodhicitta or the president of the bodhicitta, prime minister of the bodhicitta. You cannot invite to reside where the body, speech, and mind are not bound from the non-virtues. Making all these mistakes, all this confused behavior, no mindfulness, no awareness, making mess in the life. In such place, you cannot invite the bodhicitta, See, such wonderful, and are sustained with the dirt of negative karmas. Rather, bodhicitta should be invited to abide where the body, speech, and mind are free of the dirt of defilements and are fully adorned with the ornament of moral ethics of abandonment. See? Avoid all those non-virtuous thoughts and action. Make the mind clean, pure, adorned with the love and compassion. And within that, you could say, invite the king, the president of the bodhicitta. So that's the analogy. Now, scriptural authority. The chapter on cultivating mind in the Ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, its basis is vows precept. This is the quotation. Thus, the upa vasata, that's mentioned there, to text a precept 24 hours. Precepts which only last 24 hours, and it's not vast enough for the rest of the life, for enlightenment like this. The other 7 precepts are not like that. So there are vast vows. Therefore, these 7 precepts, any one of those precepts are explained as the foundation for cultivation of the mind. Means cultivation of the mind means cultivate to bodhicitta. The length for the path to enlightenment says, the Adisha says, one who keeps one of these 7 Pratimoksa precepts has the fortune to receive the Bodhisattva's precepts. Otherwise not. So that makes the good foundation. Therefore, any one of the 7 Pratimoksa precepts is said to be the foundation. Now the third, reasoning, the logic. So by taking Pratimoksa precepts, one abandons causing harm to others, see, and having harmful motives, see. In Vinaya says, don't do this, see. So don't take life, don't steal, don't engage sexual misconduct, don't tell lies. So all this don't do, That's why you abstain harming from others. So you just discipline yourself. That becomes the foundation of the practice. Those who are interested in individual liberation, they also sustain this practice. Because it becomes a hindrance for their enlightenment. For their own interests, for their own interest, then don't harm others. The Bodhisattvas see vows cause one to benefit others. See, now Bodhisattvas' action is to benefit others. Now, your motivation, if you sit there, you sit there to benefit others, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others. That's the Bodhisattva's motivation. So now this is the logic saying, without avoiding harm, there's no method of benefiting others. First you abstain from harming others. On the basis of that, then you can help others. Make sense? See? Because while you are harming others, how you can help others? It is not logical, So this is what Gampopa is pointing the point, This is called reason. So first you abstain from harming others. On the basis of that, then you develop how to help others. That's why we need the precepts. You take the precept not to harm others. Then you take the Bodhisattva's precept to help others. See, build step by step, see, that's the point. So now it says, some argue that the Pratimoksa ordination cannot be the foundation for taking the Bodhisattva's precept. Because, what's called? Huh? How you unique? This some individuals. Then Harna prototypes. So those some individuals, gods in the god realms, and so forth, cannot receive the Pratimoksa's precept. Those individuals cannot receive Pratimoksa's vow. So some argue that. But Bodhisattva's vow can be obtained by those beings. So Bodhisattva's vows can obtained by those individuals, but not the individual Vinaya vows. So they say they're arguing. So these Vinaya vows are not necessary for the practice of Bodhisattva or Bodhicitta practitioner. Also, the Pratimoksa vow, that cannot be a foundation. Cannot be a foundation for maintaining of the Bodhisattva's vow, because that causes the Pratimoksa precepts to cease. So there's especially in the Abhidhamma Kosha, Bhasavantha's text in the mention, when you die, then the Vinaya vows cease to exist, it says. Because of that reason, but Bodhisattva's vow maintains life after life. So because of that, these Pratimoksa vows cannot be a foundation for Bodhisattva's vow. So there's two reasons argued by other people. No. But sinner does not cause the Bodhisattva's vow to cease by being dead or by dying, Now Gampopa response, see here. There are three aspects to the Pratimoksa precepts, depending on one's mental state. A, if one accepts the 7 types, any one of the 7 types, merely from a desire to have the happiness of the 3 realms. Some just say, if I take these precepts, next life to born in the God realm, in the human realm. No. So that kind of one individual interest that. To have the happiness of the 3 realms. So 3 realms is in the desire wall, human and God realms, and the formless wall. No. Then this is morality, which is called vested interest. Just some expression. You just have some expression for just to achieve joy and happiness of the samsara. So this is not pure practice. Then B, if one takes these precepts, any one of those precepts, in order to completely free oneself from all suffering, is the morality associated with the hearer or solitary realizer, renunciation. It's called Hinayana. No. Then to see if one accepts with an attitude of achieving the great enlightenment, Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings, it is the morality of Bodhisattva's precepts. So there are 3 different types, you see these things. The first reason, I hear Gampopa saying, the first 2 cannot be received by these individuals, unique or those hermaphrodites, gods, and so forth, and will cease at the time of death. They stop. They cannot continue the vow after death. But if these vows decline, they cannot be renewed when it's disrobed or so. So if your vows are kind of broken, then it cannot be kind of renewed. No? Renew. So therefore, there cannot be a foundation. So therefore, there cannot be foundation for the Bodhisattva's precepts. First of all, they don't have Mahayana family. They have no interest So this vow becomes no foundation for the Bodhisattva. Now the morality of the Bodhisattva's precepts thus exists in the important. Prodize, and God and so forth will not cease at the time of death. So they can also receive this Vinaya vow. They also can, that vow can become a foundation for the Bodhicitta practice. So it will not stop after death. It will continue because it's sealed by the Bodhicitta. Because we all have Buddha nature, see. So the Bodhicitta is the direct cause to reveal the Buddha nature. Direct connection to the Buddha nature. That's why. So, since every sentient being is the Buddha nature, so Bodhicitta is the direct cause to reveal Buddha nature. That's why I think this is one. This is my commentary, you have to think about that. If it declines, it can be renewed, see. Therefore, it is the foundation for precepts, foundation for received and maintenance of the Bodhisattva's vow. The commentary to the Ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, see, what is the basis of these minds? The basis is the Bodhisattva's vow or moral ethics. See, the moral ethics is that Vinaya. This discipline is necessary to cultivate the Bodhicitta. On that Vinaya precept, then you cultivate Bodhicitta. But it's optional for its maintenance. It's maybe said optional. For example, even though it is necessary to have the disciplines of meditative concentration in order to form the foundation for achieving unafflicted vows or undefiled vow. This now is undefiled vow, unafflicted vow. Means as we went through this form walls meditation, they become the foundation for enlightenment, what they're saying. It is optional as a foundation for their maintenance. There is no need to have a separate ceremony to receive the Bodhisattva's vow, Bodhisattva's Pratimoksa. This is because previously you took the hearer training vow. If you later cultivate the special attitude, means bodhicitta, this transforms into the Bodhisattva's vow. So suppose you, before without bodhicitta mind, you took the 5 precepts or novice or full ordination. Later you found this bodhicitta's teaching. You are so inspired. And then with that mind, you cultivate bodhicitta. And that your vow that you took, it becomes automatically the Bodhisattva's vow, becomes a foundation. So you don't need special ceremony to do that. No. If you later cultivate these special attitudes, this transforms into the Bodhisattva's vow. Even if you release the inferior mind, means self-interest. To achieve nirvana for your self-interest, you release that mind. But saying, it's a hero attitude, you have not given up the abandonment mind, the training, means you have not abandoned to get rid of all the obscurations, afflictive emotions. You have not abandoned that. You continue to do good. But only what happens is you expanded your mind for all sentient beings. before your own interest. Now that interest you expand it to all sentient beings. So there's no contradiction to avoiding the cause of suffering. Thus, a person possessing the Mahayana family, 1, taking refuge in the 3 JOL, 2, and possessing any one of the 7 Pratimoksa vows, is one who has the working foundation for cultivating the mind, is cultivate bodhicitta of the enlightenment. This is the 8th chapter dealing with the taking refuge and precepts from the JOL ornament of liberation, the wish-fulfilling gem of the noble teachings. Now, if you have any questions or any suggestions or disagreements, whatever you have, just we have few minutes. So, you said you have.
Khenchen, I have
Yes.
questions.
Okay.
You answered them both in the last hour.
Okay, that's fine. No, answer. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
The notion of being in the Mahayana family, that's just a matter of having that vision and that interest and that wish to be of help like that. So that one can do that without having taken the vow, right? Having that vision and that interest is the foundation for taking self-vow.
When you have that wish, your thought, aspiration, then if you do the ceremony, it reinforces. And then it confirms, you see. So it makes it more kind of, what's called, stronger to follow the path. Because sometimes we're interested. Oh, I like this, that's very good. Then when there's no acknowledgement, when there's no confirmation, and sometimes we forget.
Okay, so it kind of focuses.
Yeah, focusing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, making stronger, yeah. So progress.
Okay, and then my other question was about the ultimate refuge. Well, Dharma, they talk about Lungi Chu and Tokpe Chu.
Yes.
So the Tokpe Chu,
Yeah.
Dharma of realization.
Yes.
Does that is the ultimate refuge, right? Because that's your own experience of enlightenment.
But there's also different stages of realization. So like there's a 5-part lamga, 5-part, the part of accumulation. It has its own realization. But then you drop that and follow the second part of application. And then you have to renounce that to follow the 3rd part, especially inside.
So which one is the Dharma of realization? At what point?
So, yeah, the realization is a mission, step by step. There's a lot of realization. But when you realize Dharmakaya, so that is the ultimate refuge, that is. Then there's nothing to fall down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the path of realization, just as you described, for each segment, you practice it, you renounce it to the next one, and then renounce that and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If we put others' enlightenment before our own, are we still able to help them more effectively by having that attitude?
Excuse me?
If we put others' enlightenment before our own, are we able to help them more effectively?
I think if you achieve enlightenment, then you can help them effectively. Yeah. Yes.
So I have a question on page 146.
Okay.
It says, this discipline is necessary to cultivate bodhicitta, but is optional for its maintenance. So does that mean once you practice the Vinaya precepts and therefore have cultivated bodhicitta, does it mean that you can abandon the precepts?
Abandon means in some cases, some critical cases happens, it becomes little contradicts Vinaya, but from Bodhisattva's vow point of view, maybe you have to act. So in such case, it contradicts Vinaya vow, but it reinforces to keep the Bodhisattva's vow. So maybe that kind of such. But when you really, this is what is general view. Many scholars have that kind of view, same kind of. But in reality, when you have complete Bodhisattva's vow, without any condition with that, then it also doesn't affect the Vinaya vow.
See.
Because Vinaya vows, as earlier mentioned, to avoid all the non-virtues. So by avoiding all the non-virtues, which becomes the basis to develop all the virtue, to do good things. So that's Bodhisattva's vow. No? So see, Vinaya is very important, no, to practice the Bodhisattvas and Vajrayana. Yes.
Since most of us are not ordained,
Oh.
since most of us are not ordained, could you say something about some of our obligations as householders? And
As I mentioned here, there's just before, there are 5 precepts, householder. So keep the 5 precepts. So that's why it's called any one of the 7 precepts you see. Gampopa mentioned very precisely, they are divided into 2 groups, lay people and renounced ordained. There's always opportunity, okay? Don't worry. Don't be too rigid, relax and just follow the path. Now, how many weeks? This is 3rd week, isn't it?
Yeah.
3rd week, 4th week. Now we have 5 week, which means 15 days.
Yeah.
We have 15 days now to finish this book. So now, just make it happen, okay? Work hard. Read, study, I think this is a really good opportunity. Do you think so? Yes, really good opportunity. Since we started the center here in Frederick, 91, and in the early 90s, we went through this for the translation, this book. But what happened was, we studied Wednesday evening, that maybe about 10, 15 people come, and we went through this JOL Ornament of Liberation. And Then that time we have a translation by Herbert Gunther, a great translator. I heard his German. So those we have that translation. And then I opened my Tibetan text and went through. And those participants said, this book is very difficult. Even though I'm supposed to have good understanding English, because I studied philosophy in English, but this book is very difficult. So when I opened the Tibetan, tried to explain roughly from my broken English, and those participants said, this makes much better sense. So can we continue, So from there, it's happened to translate this book. But then, since then, we haven't been through this book now. This is the first time. First time we are going through. So this last September when I came here, then there's kind of idea came into my mind. So I have suggested all members if they're interested. And our members, they all respond. They said, we would like to have this. So we started. So I'm also very happy that I could do this, And then our members also, they're working hard on this, trying their best. And all the participants, they appreciate. And so this is, I think, we're really getting test of the Dharma. Because as I mentioned, the idea came because as many great teachers come here, we invite and we ask the highest teaching, And then we think that's the way I can, And sometimes the teaching is there and our mind is here. Then we struggle to connect with that, Sometimes we derail from the path. So I cannot do this, And so from seeing these things, since we have the place here, now we don't have to rent anywhere, No need to worry a lot of things, It's just, so I thought, use the place in the best way, And then get the Dharma teachings, Yes, Raju.
You explained it, but I still couldn't get it.
Okay.
How do you take a vow that you took in this life? You're dead. How does it carry on to the next life?
First of all, cultivate the mind to achieve enlightenment. So I want to achieve complete enlightenment. Cultivate that mind. Then don't worry so much about the next life. You just do all the best in this life. Look at all things that you have to do. Look at the things that we have to avoid. Just do sincerely. Purify it as much as possible and accumulate all the good qualities as much as possible. Relax your mind. Just tune in like bodhicitta, which will come later, Like this, in this, like first we have finished the 10 virtues, 10 non-virtues. Look at the 10 virtues. Now, just look at in your own mind how much I'm practicing and how much I'm lacking. Look at that. Then develop. And then love and compassion, as yesterday we went. Try to bring those in our mind, heart. With that mind, taking refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So like that. And then more you purified, that's what is called establishing the habituation, the continuation of the habituation within you. When that habit will follow day after day, year after year, and then life after life. The chapter 9 has a very long, it has a lot of explanations. It may take for a few days, if not next whole 3 days. Then others are a little more short. Then the chapter, I think 17, the wisdom awareness. That's kind of long. It may take two days. Then others not too long. Have any questions? No?
I have a question.
Tulsa?
You said before that to gain enlightenment yourself, you can best benefit others.
That's right.
But to gain enlightenment yourself, you have to give up self-cherishing.
That's right.
I feel that self-cherishing is an obstacle.
That's right.
And I wish to benefit others.
That's right. That's what I mean, you see. Yes, then.
So
then what?
I'm bigger.
Yes. I think you no need to ask question. You can figure out, yes.
So does that mean you focus without being too focused into doing and achieving enlightenment, but without truly, getting too focused on, but on the same path, you will help other sentient beings while you cultivate and pursue on that path. Is that right?
In a lot of our practice, I think that's the point, If you practice is this, when you have bodhicitta, maintaining bodhicitta, practicing that without harming other, itself is benefiting others. See, you keep the bodhicitta in your heart, meditate, practice, and keep the 10 virtues. And that itself is a great benefiting others. Even maybe not directly obvious, but indirectly you are benefiting sentient beings.
Rinpoche, your example, that's easier for me to identify with because of my past experience as a pilot. But your example as the oxygen masks in the airplane, when the oxygen masks drop, you don't know how much useful consciousness you have before you're unconscious because of altitude. So it's imperative that you put on your oxygen mask first. And then try to help others put their oxygen mask on.
That's right.
And that's, when you used that example several weeks ago, it was very helpful for me to understand why we have to focus because we don't know how much time we have.
That's right.
So we have to focus on that first.
That's right. a lot of the submission stories I put in the complete guide to Buddhist path in that book. There's one nice story about relation to suffering of all sentient beings. Sometimes we admire the high status people who have authority, wealth. We admire. I wish I can be that individuals. Without realizing how much suffering they have. So in a country, there was a very nice king who really served his people sincerely. So because that all the people, they praise the king. What a wonderful you are. How much compassion you have. How much wisdom you have. How much skill you have. Like this. So one day, one man came, praised to king. Said, you are the happiest man in our country because you enjoy the luxury of the kingdom, the cuisine, the bed, all these things, and all the entourage. And the king said, thank you so much for all these comments. Tonight I will invite you as a special guest. So the king prepared as just a delectable dinner and said, please enjoy the food. Then took him in his room where the king sleeps. Above in the ceiling, he hung a sharp sword, a sword, very sharp, and said, today I ask you to sleep here, this bed. It's a golden throne, bed. So you have a good night, So that man looking at the sword, he couldn't sleep whole night, What if the sword now drop down, I'll be killed that moment, or I'll be dead in that moment. And then in the morning, early in the morning, the king wakes up. So I prepared a very nice breakfast for you. So they asked, did you enjoy it last night, the golden bed? No. The man said, no. The king said, why? Because I didn't know you have a sword on the ceiling, And worrying whole night, I didn't get good sleep. Says, that's what I want to tell you. You think I'm the happiest person in the world or in my country. You don't know how much I have a suffering to protect the country, to make happy the people. What kind of enemies can come from other country? I have to think constantly about those things. So like that, you see. So this will give us a good perspective to develop compassion, loving kindness to all those people who have authority, power. Instead of we get upset, we're angry with them. Just say they are not doing what they're supposed to do. They want to do, but because of their own mental afflictions, there's a suffering. It's a good story, isn't it? Yeah, I like that story, It's a very clear picture in my mind, Okay, now we'll say some dedication prayers. Before that, first take a deep breath again. And relax. And then just say today how much wisdom you got from this precious book. You appreciate, rejoice. It's because written by an enlightened person, a being, who was the embodiment of compassion and wisdom. No? So I'm so fortunate today, this session, I got this time to reflect on this. So to develop our mental capacity of the wisdom and compassion, to purify all our delusions, and then with that to benefit all sentient beings. We will say this dedication prayers, okay? Page 32, please open the prayer booklet. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assemblies of Yedams, assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected the 3 times by myself, all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Sharavaka or Partika Buddha. May all matter sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain and surpass perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, and arrogance and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinite of space. May I gain supreme attainment Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the Bharto. Next page. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain and surpass perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikung Kagyu, who is the omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Okay. Thank you.